Hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be the final video in the series that, well, we've probably long awaited for, and it's the GSC UU segment of the Runes of Alph Olympics. Now, I've had quite a lot of things to do, and I've been wanting to release this video, but, I couldn't, so I'm gonna also try and not have too much downtime, as that's what a lot of the viewers have been telling me. And if you do have any other questions or to ask or anything else, by all means, if you have anything to tell me about the video, please do so. Share your opinions. Now, you can join the GSC Discord. I always leave a link in the description to join that. You'll be able to join some tournaments and things that are going on. I've been organizing some live tours, and there will be other events happening in the near future. But the other thing I wanted to mention, since we're on the topic of GSC underused, there is a spotlight tournament organized by the Runes of Alph, as you can see right here. So you have until Sunday, January 9th to sign up. It will be a Swiss tournament, so you are not eliminated if you lose week one. Do check it out. Now, on to the semifinals match. The finals game was between me and Holly. That was actually the first video I recorded live, so I won't be doing a video on that. Instead, I'm going to be showing you the games between me and Mr. Tenshinhan. Now, he claims not to have played much GSC, but that doesn't change the fact that he gave me a run for my money, and it was pretty scary. So I'm just going to skip the team analysis and save some time, since the teams I'm using are pretty much the same all throughout this tournament. But I will get into the analysis of the third game. And let's just get right into it. So I lead off with Hypno, and he leads with a Thief Mr. Mime, taking away the leftovers. You always should be mindful about any Thief Mr. Mimes. It used to be way more common to have something like, Hypnosis, Encore, and T-Wave. T-Wave's still pretty common on Mr. Mime, but now it's very common to have both Hypno and Mr. Mime using Sleep Talk, so you're not going to see a lot of Hypnosis. But taking away Thief is really helpful if you have like a Nido Queen in the back, because Hypno's usually going to be one of the primary switch-ins to that. I do manage to get some chip. At this point, there isn't really much I can do to get rid of the Thief. Oh, mind you, this is kind of funny. I'm actually going to zoom out 1 second, because he goes for Thief twice, and I didn't notice it the first time I played. Sorry. But if you just zoom in here, in Gen 2, moves with 100% secondary effect chance will not trigger one in 1 over 256 uses. So he used Thief, and it actually didn't steal my leftovers, so he had to do it again. Which is pretty funny. I didn't even notice. I just took for granted that I lost the lefties, but then I saw him do it again, and I still didn't notice. So I only noticed looking at the replay again. So he uses Hypnosis, and he has Thunder and Psychic. Those are going to be the other two moves, obviously. So at this point, I'm just going to be staying in, trying to get some chip. And he brings in Magneton. First Magneton I see in the tour. Actually kind of scary, especially since I don't have lefties. There are lots of things that Hypno's supposed to be able to check. But without the leftovers, it's a lot harder. So I bring in my Nido, and it's a sub-Magneton. It's not a Sleep Talk like the one I like very much. That's going to deplete its health, bit by bit. So I go for a Fire Blast. Perhaps I was predicting a Scyther. But I bring in my Mag on the Slowking. A little bit aggressive, as you can see. The Magneton's in range now. So I do go for a Thunder. In previous matches, I would have a T-Bolt, but Thunder is a lot nicer for the Psychics and can probably near the Oko Slowking, I think. So I switch in and dodge a Nidoqueen EQ. I have to go for the offensive here and, deal some damage to this Nidoqueen, as I don't... my only other answer to this is, besides the Hypno, which is slower and has been put to sleep, really scary situation, is my Gyarados. So I actually managed to survive, though, luckily. I survived both an Ice Beam and a Thunder. And I managed to do a lot of damage to that Gyara. And I go for a pass to Qwilfish, expecting a hidden power. So now I'm at +2 with Qwilfish, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but I'm going to get my Spikes. And that still forces him to bring in Mag, so that's free momentum right there. And I also have my Spikes. Not seeing a Qwilfish from his end makes me think that he doesn't have one. So I have my Mag. And there, as you can see, the Thunder does not take out the Slowking. And Magneton's not a great Surf resistor, so Slowking's one of the few things Magneton's going to have a hard time switching into. And I go for a Predict by using Hidden Power Ice. And it doesn't really work out. And then I try and compensate by clicking Thunder, because I want to make sure that Slowking doesn't live. I bring in the Gyara, and I just go for a Hydro Pump, which does manage to KO that Slowking thanks to the Spikes. But this situation is rather scary for me. Interestingly enough, I go to Nidoqueen, and that's because Magneton is in range of 2 Psychics plus Spikes from Mr. Mime. At least that might be my assumption. Also, I don't want to let in the momentum, because if I'm forced to rest, let's say I do survive, I'm forced to rest, he's going to go to Nido, so really scary. I go to Hypno instead, causing him to Predict and, choose to click Psychic, but yeah. So it's not going too well for me, but I do have Scyther to possibly revenge kill with, maybe pretend I have Hidden Power. I don't remember what I go for. I do go for a return there. And this situation is really scary, as I don't even know what his 6th Mon is. But judging by the team, it looks like he may have brought a triple Psychic team, the one that you see thrown around a little bit. Shoutouts to Holly, who also made it to the finals. And yeah, so the 3rd Psychic would probably be a Kadabra in the back. So I don't really have an answer to that. My Gyarados does manage to take out the other Gyarados, luckily. But things are looking extremely dire. I'm really nervous at this point because of how the situation is going for me. I go to my Gyara, and Nidoqueen might... Well, I don't know if it's in range. Now it's very likely not in range of Hydro Pump. I missed 2 Hydros. Nidoqueen misses 2 Thunders. Now it's definitely not in range of a Hydro. Yeah, see how it does only 63, so it never was in range, but hey. But it is in range now for Quill, as long as I don't miss a 3rd time out of 4. And in comes Kadabra, at which point I'm like, oh no. I have to use Magneton, and I need things to happen now. This Kadabra probably has Nightmare. And yeah, really scary situation. Can I get a Para? Nope. If I got a Para, I would have won, but I didn't. And I'm taking damage regardless, whether I wake up or not, because whether I get hit or not, because of the Nightmare. Nightmare's a really cool move. The timer is at 10 seconds for me. I'm super nervous. I'm trying to make all the calcs I can and make a decision. I go for that Sleep Talk. And if he gets a Spadef drop, it's going to be real bad for me. So, yeah. Looking really scary here. I can only outlast his PP and hope that things work out. But he can be very conservative and not use all of his psychic PP. He's going to use a sub here. I don't know if that switch out was a good play on my end. Kadabra, Oko's Quillfish, one of the only psychics that actually does that. And Mag does get some health back, at least. So, yeah, at this point I'm near... so I use rest. I don't know if I should have done that, but the RNG says yes, that was a good play because Nidoqueen got the Spadef drop, but then I got another Spadef drop anyways. So, yeah, this is really bad for me. Tenshinhan probably wants to click sub, not waste his psychic PP there. I do manage to take out that one sub, but next turn is all or nothing. So I go stupidly, like a dumbass, for a hidden power when I could have gone for Thunder, and I lose. So that's game one, and it only takes Tenshinhan one more game to win. So on to game two. Really nervous here. Not sure what to do, but I just go for the usual Dodrio Hypno Blossom team with the dual screens. Hypno using Light Screen and Blossom having Reflect and I think Stun Spore. I do decide to give Haunter Shadow Ball because I kind of liked it. It's not amazing, but it's pretty fun. So it's worth a try every now and then. So there's my lead Hypno against a Nidoqueen, who switches out to Slowking. I get an early Spadef drop on that Slowking. That's I just try to stay ambiguous by not revealing that I have a different set just yet, and then I set up my Light Screen so I can effectively stall out the Slowking. And I go to Blossom, so I go straight to that. No funny business. I want to... Okay, so I use Stun Spore for good measure, basically, in case he wants to bring in something like Scyther, although that would be very overly aggressive, to be completely honest. But I assume that in... Oh, okay. So with the Spadef drop, yeah, that was a good call, I guess, to go for the Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf has a raised critical hit ratio, but unfortunately I don't get it, as that would probably have KO'd the Slowking, maybe. I don't think Tenshinhan is being extremely careful here, as the non-boosted Razor Leaf already did 42%, so actually there was a special defense drop, so there's that to keep in mind. I set up a Reflect as Scyther comes in, and I'm going to go for a Stun Spore, but I miss, as the Scyther sets up an Agility, so not what I expected initially, and I bring in my Quillfish behind a Reflect. He should feel quite safe. I'm going to go for Haze, just to cancel any sort of chance to pull anything funny, as he reveals that his Mr. Mime is a Barrier Pass Mon. So we see two Baton Pass users on this team, and Baton Pass is quite scary. But he passes to Slowking, so that's not going to be do him very good. So I go back to Blossom. I'm just doubling back and forth, making sure I don't lose anything to some sort of crit. As I go back to Hypno, I still have one more turn for a Reflect to protect me there, as it disappears. And I'm going to set up... Nope, never mind. I'm trying to predict what I do as opposed to actually commentate here. But I go... Why do I... What is the reason for this? Why would I go to Blossom here on the Mime? I guess I go to Blossom because I don't want him to take advantage of me by having a sleep-talking Hypno, as I didn't make the call to go for Light Screen there, when I probably should have. But I do set up Reflect, so that would help against the likes of Baton Pass, as I get a Stun Spore on the Nidoqueen. Those are 2 Pokemon paralyzed now. One very valuable Mon paralyzed, and the other one not as much, but here I can pretty safely just stall here and go with the Hypno, and hopefully get a Light Screen. Instead, I do get a Psychic off of the Sleep Talk roll. I have one more turn of Reflect. I'm just going to go straight back, attempt to set up the Reflect once more, maybe. What do? I do set up the Reflect again. Go to Hypno. And this Mr. Mime is able to pass a +2 defense to a Flareon, so that's going to be pretty scary. And there's a Light Screen. I'm playing rather passively, to be completely honest here. Behind screens, I decide to go for the spikes, even though I know that he has a Growth Pass Flareon, which can be extremely terrifying. So I'm kind of letting him take advantage here of my situation. I'm not sure how much I agree with how I'm playing. I do decide to stay in, and since the Light Screen wore off, might as well, right? And I go to Blossom. I do get paralyzed, but that sounds like a cue to just bring in Flareon here, as he goes instead to Nidoqueen. Not sure why. Of course, Nidoqueen is faster, but that's also a turn where I get to set up Moonlight for free, thanks to the Light Screen. And Hypno comes in. Blossom doesn't mind being paralyzed as much. Hypno comes in. Fortunately, does not get freezed, or frozen rather. And Slowking is going to take some of that spikes as I go back to Bell. So there's a lot of back and forth here, as you might guess. Now, the last poke could be really anything. Many Baton Pass teams aren't equipped to handle certain types of threats, but at the very least, Tenshinhan has a sort of Nidoqueen answer. I could be taking advantage of the Light Screen a little bit more by using maybe Nidoqueen and coming in. But no, I'm not doing that at all, which is unfortunate because I learned that Light Screen plus Nido can do quite a lot, put in quite a lot of work, and get some lucky rolls. Now, as for the Mon in the back, I'm guessing that Tenshinhan might have a Hypno. In comes my Nido, but I don't necessarily want to keep it in here. Let's see what goes on. So I actually go for it just because I know that the other Nido is paralyzed, and I know at the very least that I could defend myself, but a crit would be pretty unfortunate. So I use that Light Screen turn to deal an extra little bit of damage there. I also chip the Mime, so that's helpful. And now Slowking's in a really tough spot. So Tenshinhan is really going to have to press my team a little bit more offensively. I still haven't revealed 2 Mons, and I've shown that I can pretty much go back and forth and pivot around, especially without any spikes. This helps my situation a lot. And the Mime is just going to spam Thunder, perhaps in the hopes of a paralysis, which does come up. In with the Light Screen. Now I gotta be careful, as his Scyther, I believe, is still completely healthy. But I decide to stay in for whatever reason. Now, we know that the Scyther is Hidden Power Bug, so I go straight to Dodrio, and he passes to Sudowoodo, of all things, and uses Curse, so that's really weird. Passing defense to a Sudowoodo and having Sudowoodo in general, that's a NU Mon. But I'm going for my Lovely Kisses because if I lose Quillfish, then I probably lose the game. But then I go back to Quillfish. I'm contradicting myself. I suppose I could have just gone to Blossom at this point, but instead, no. The Quillfish is dead. And with plus 3 defense, right, times 2.5, this Sudowoodo actually survives a, but he goes for Boom, so, yeah. I said that I thought it was a Haunter because he needed a Grand Bull check, but I couldn't remember the team very well. So I have my Haunter in any case, which at the very least can speed creep everything besides the Scyther. But things are looking pretty bad. I have Dodrio to check the Scyther, and I do have Whirlwind on the Dodrio. So it's going to be... But it's very frail, so... Really scary situation. My Blossom is pretty much unable to do anything at this point. So he has full pass, right? He has Barrier, he has Growth, he has... he even has Light Screen on the Scyther, so that's pretty interesting. Now this Flareon is scary as ever, as it's at +2 with Special Defense, Light Screen, +1 growth, but I use the one turn I have to go for that Whirlwind, which might have just saved my ass. And I don't know. I go for Double Edge, which takes out my own Dodrio. I'm not sure to what extent I agree with that, but I do manage to take out the Nidoqueen, so now this Haunter is looking extremely threatening, especially since that Scyther cannot do very much. Tenshinhan is just going to sack the Slowking. Not really a great play there. And I reveal Shadow Ball, and there it is. I take out I take out the first Baton Passer. What's left are the final two, and Scyther and Flareon can still very much take me out here. Flareon, if not hindered, can really, really torment me. My Blossom basically can't do anything, so I have to set up that Light Screen and be extremely careful there. Chip down that Flareon. I don't have any phaser left, and this is really scary because, well, I mean, even behind the Light Screen, the Fire Blast does about 24, but I managed to dodge another Fire Blast as the Flareon is now in range, and I managed to take it out, so I get super, super, super lucky. And yeah, I just go for Shadow Ball, and maybe because I don't have Explosion, I don't know. Since he has Light Screen, I took a while to calc all this, and I realized that Shadow Ball does more than Psychic behind Light Screen. So, man, those Flareon Fire Blast misses were super unfortunate, and I got bailed out by hacks, but hey. So at this point, we're on our tournament life here, as the tournament is single elimination. It's semifinals, and it may not be a huge deal, but it still would suck not to be able to make it to the finals. So we're gonna take our time to just assess the situation and think about, like, okay, what team can I bring? Here it is. Okay. Yeah, here's the team I brought. So, yeah, I brought this team, which has Psychic Body Slam to kind of cripple his Mons. I don't feel too concerned about Slowking, because Slowking won't have too many entry points besides the Hypno, but maybe that's just assuming a lot of things. He hasn't shown lead Scyther, pardon me. So I just thought that leading with Hypno would have been just fine. Then I bring this guy. I change this team, so I have Reflect, Slowking. I have a Curse Granbull to kind of just sweep and overwhelm my opponent. And Piloswine, which I love a lot. And yeah. So, and Quillfish for spikes. So... Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember to cut out that spoiler, but here we are. So I'm really nervous at this point of the tournament because I really want to make it to the finals to be able to play Holly. And I mean, in general, I don't want to lose. And so, yeah. So, usual, leading with the same leads as last time, actually, as I go with Hypno. And I start spamming Body Slam because I know that it can do some damage. And it looks kind of as if Tenshinhan might have been bringing the same team, or he modified a previous one. I don't know. So I go for Psychic, and I'm taking out quite a bit of chip, and that's partly due to the fact that I don't really have a good switch-in for this. So besides my own Slowking, I don't really want to bring it to a stall fest. So I spam my Body Slam, and I want to make sure that I can weaken that Slowking. And as soon as I see Girafarig, my cue is to just go to Grand Bull and set up, because I don't want to deal with any Quagsire bullshit. So I'm gonna set up Curse here, as he actually goes to Piloswine, interestingly enough. And it's Piloswine Curse. Kind of weird, but actually really scary, because he's at +1 in speed, attack, and defense. I don't know if he has Ice Beam. Ice Beam would be really a big problem for me. I'm slower, but I will be able to take out the Piloswine in the next turn if everything goes well. Right, I go for rest. I'm not a dumbass. Good job, Cherry. You're better than the commentator. So I'm just going to spam Sleep Talk, as this would be a great opportunity for him to just start setting up Curse, but he's not going for it. Which is odd. Perhaps he wants to keep that that speed boost, but honestly, you got to be careful. And there goes Piloswine. Down it goes. Grand Bull should be able to... Oh, right, Reflect. Never mind. Okay, well, Grand Bull should be able to take care of Slowking. That would not have gone down behind a Reflect, but hey. So I just try and play cautiously here, because if I can keep going with this Grand Bull, then I can probably win. But I'm kind of skeptical as to Tenshinhan's team choice here, as the Grand Bull and Slowking don't really make too much sense on a Baton Pass team, especially if you already have another ground in Nidoqueen. But yeah, I'm setting up, and really Nidoqueen can't do much against this Grand Bull. Piloswine can kind of reach a 3-hit KO with Ice Beam, but but Nidoqueen has a much harder time. And despite the KO and everything, I managed to take out the Nido, and I'm at +3, so I'm not quite in range of a Belly Drum Quag, but that's, at this point, you have to go for Belly Drum and try and take out the... Hope that I get some bad Sleep Talk roll. And let's see, moment of truth. Nope, never mind. Man, Sleep Talk can really catch you off guard like that and make you think that the replay is about to end, but no. No, I keep on setting up. Grand Bull wants a big finale with maxed out stats. And here it's do or die, and luckily I was on the final sleep turn, and I managed to take out the Quagsire. Sure, Grand Bull's dead, but at this point it's 5 versus 2. Girafarig has Amnesia, but will have a really hard time versus Pylo. I do get a crit, as we see that the last mon is Scyther, so actually passing Amnesia to Scyther would have been a big problem for me. So Tenshinhan, I can't say that Tenshinhan didn't play his cards right. I just got all of these dumb, stupid, ugly crits, and that was literally the only way I made it out of this. So props to Tenshinhan. seriously, for someone who hasn't played GSC, it was curtains for me like 3, 4, 10 times over. It was really hard, and I don't know, it's not every day that you see that. And the teams might not have been optimized, but there was a good idea with the baton passing and the sweeping. So, or at least in terms of win cons. So I guess, yeah, shout outs to him. And thank you, Ruins of Alph, for hosting this wonderful little tournament that is going to be hosted every year. If you guys enjoyed, please stay tuned, make sure to watch some of the other stuff that I'm going to be releasing in the future. And I hope to be using more editing so that way all of my videos aren't a complete mess. All right. And I have some things coming up soon. So, peace.